What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing, man? Look at this goddamn thumbnail. Dude, y'all gotta do a little better than this on these thumbnails, man. What the hell is that extra? I see 3 arms coming from Diddy. Yeah, I see 3 arms coming from Diddy. And it looked like he got 2 different weights going on. Y'all gotta do a little better than that, man. I mean, come on, man. But they bringing me this. They bringing it to me, man. Hey, also shout out to all the subscribers, man. Shout out to my 1 subscriber who unsubscribed from me because he said, I can't believe you would be doing clickbait. I can't believe it either, man. So you let me know which ones is clickbaits before I do them. That way I won't be doing no clickbaits. Oh, man, come on. It sure is funny how people can sit on the sideline. Yeah, I trip, you know. People sit on the sideline and point the finger. You should do this. Don't do that. You should do this. Don't do that. You should do this. You should do this. Then you want to be a crook. You find an old lady, take a pocketbook. Yeah. Anyway, poor Diddy. Poor Diddy. You done. Diddy, you done. Man, I went down to the court building and everything, and Diddy was, hey, I can feel you on this, Diddy. Diddy was very disappointed, man, and I was too, so I can feel you on this. I drove all the way up there, y'all, and there was hardly nobody out there. Damn, cousin. Diddy had some people in the beginning. He hired some people, his team hired some people to be in front of the courthouse to sell them the free Diddy shirts so people can, you know, I'm thinking it's gonna be so many people out there like the New York on Christmas New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve when the ball coming down, dog. The ball coming down. 5, 4, 3, 2. Happy New Year! Yeah, I'm thinking that it's gonna be at least half of that. Not a quarter of that. Not even 2% of that. Man, it was about, dude. It wasn't even enough people out there to fill up a school bus. We could have everybody in there, including the police officers, could have got on one bus and went and drove somewhere. That's how many people was there. And I'm talking everybody, the police officers and all the security. I mean, all the camera people too. Yeah, all the camera people also. We all could have got on one bus and taken our tail somewhere. Diddy out there trying to pay somebody $20 an hour. 5 people came up to me, y'all. 5 people came up to me and said, yo, man, where can I get one of them Diddy shirts? I'm trying to make that money. And I'm like, you'll wear one of those shirts? Man, shoot, I need this money. I need that money, $20 an hour. So my experience, man, is letting me know how there's some people out here need some money, man. But anyway, shout out to all the Tupac fans. Rest in peace to Tupac. That barely looked like Tupac. God dang, boy, y'all doing some photoshopping. Hey, breaking news, Tupac latest Diddy interview on Quincy Jones Boy Club shot month later. Now, this may be clickbait. I don't know. I ain't never seen the damn thing yet. People kill me, man. But anyway, I appreciate everybody, man. I appreciate everybody rolling with a brother. I appreciate y'all, man. We tried our best not to do no clickbait. It sure is funny how the clickbait stuff get more views. Think about that. More subscribers come to the channel because of the clickbait. I run the channel, and sometimes I lose a team. They saying, you know. Anyway, y'all hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. I'm letting y'all know. I'm letting y'all know right now. Uncle Mike don't just run things. I let my people do what they believe in, man. I don't say nothing about the thumbnails or the titles. I try to stay out of their lanes and everything. Sometimes you got to jump in, but you got to say, am I right or wrong, or what you think? Well, you do the reactions. Let us handle this. Fine, okay, fine. I sit down. It's hard doing a business, man. This shit just don't come easy. Shoot. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell. Let's check it out.
Shot 5 times in jail for a crime I didn't commit. While every other black person, I mean, whoever they babies in the or killing and cutting them in 50 pieces. These got support.
Pac studied all the facts. Pac was real smart. So before he say something, he'd go and do his homework. He'd say, okay, this guy right here, they say he gay, he go both ways. You know, so I'm gonna do it to actually save him from a little child. That's why Pac attacked certain rappers and said they gay. Because he did his facts and found out it was true.
It's time to pay attention now. Is Tupac, we finally hooked up, even though it was a detention.
And Quincy Jones wanted Tupac.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Now, when you say hook up, because you know, oh my God. See it? I'm gonna save it to the end.
He did his facts and found out it was true.
It's time to pay attention now. Is Tupac, we finally hooked up, even though it was a detention.
And Quincy Jones wanted Tupac to run him, spend the night with him. Pac never would have.
The thing that raised some eyebrows with people is when I dropped the information about Quincy Jones. I let the chips fall wherever they fall.
That's right.
This dude was one of the ones responsible. He had a magazine financed by Warner Brothers and arrested him. He set up rings in Hollywood.
Something big just dropped. A new clip from Tupac's lost interview with Angie Martinez just hit the internet. And what Tupac said in it will make you question everything you knew about the system that protects predators. Pac didn't hold back, and he even named names, including Diddy and the late Quincy Jones. Now, this interview was recorded just a few months before Tupac was killed. And though Tupac talked to Angie for over 2 hours, she only released about 12 minutes of it. And for some reason, the full interview has been locked away ever since. But now we might finally understand why. In this leaked part of the interview, Tupac talked about how some rappers and moguls are protected by the legal system, even though they're doing some of the worst stuff imaginable behind the scenes. Pac found out that some people in the industry were part of a secret club that targeted the young and innocent, and he apparently shared this with Angie Martinez. Now, if this was just saying some wild stuff to diss his rivals, maybe you could write it off. But here's where it gets creepy. Pac wasn't the only one saying this stuff about Quincy and Diddy. There's been talk in the industry for years about Quincy being involved in something dark and trying to pull Pac into that world. In fact, Suge Knight recently confirmed this and said he personally witnessed Quincy trying to get Pac to spend the night with him.
Quincy wanted Pac to spend the night to get to know him. And then Pac being Pac saying, well, you know, me and Kadada are going to be making noise. And then Kadada said, I'm not going to be there. And Pac said, well, I'm going to sleep at Quincy stay with me in my bed.
And it's not just Suge. Literally over a decade ago, Professor Griff publicly accused Quincy of being the mastermind behind the secret ring of predators in Hollywood. What's also disturbing is that Tupac wasn't the only one Quincy might have targeted. According to insiders, Quincy's alleged victims included everyone from Will Smith and Tevin Campbell to Michael Jackson himself. And yet the whole time they tried to paint Michael as a predator.
They give me my inspiration. They inspire me. Everything I do, every song I write, the dance, everything that I do. They tried to use it against me, and it's just been so unfair, and I'm very upset about it, you know. I would slit my wrist before I would. Yeah. I could never, ever. I go to their hospital, I give presents to the children. As soon as I leave, the next day they go, Wacko Jacko left the hospital and he ignored all the children. And it hurt my heart.
And what happened to MJ actually ties in perfectly with what Tupac said in this new clip from Angie Martinez's interview.
Michael Jackson came to hospitals in my area in Washington, D.C. I got a godbrother. His son was in the hospital, and Michael Jackson was coming around asking all the kids who was the president of the United States, and just to see if the little kids can answer. And the little kid said his niece name. He said, Sierra's the president, like that. So, yeah, Michael Jackson was doing some stuff, man.
Left the hospital and he ignored all the children.
Hospitals.
And it hurt my heart.
And what happened to MJ actually ties in perfectly with what Tupac said in this new clip from Angie Martinez's interview. How the real criminals are protected, while those who try to make a real change are shunned, blacklisted, or worse. So now this leaked clip takes on a whole new meaning, and maybe this is the reason the full interview still hasn't been released. But let's get into what exactly Tupac revealed about Quincy and Diddy, because it looks like this might be much bigger than anyone thought.
I believe so. I do believe so. I have proved things that I can say that will back up my claim.
So this new clip from Tupac's 1996 interview with Angie Martinez just surfaced online. And for a lot of fans, this clip confirmed what they always suspected, that Pac was taken out for knowing too much. In the clip, Pac talks about how certain powerful people in the music industry are protected, no matter what they do, even if they commit the worst kinds of crimes. Meanwhile, he was constantly being targeted, locked up, dragged through the media, even shot for simply defending himself and speaking his mind. And Pac didn't sugarcoat anything. He made some graphic comments, and you could hear the anger in his voice, like he was trying to warn us about something really dark that he knew was happening in the industry.
Shot 5 times in jail for a crime I didn't commit, while every other black person, I mean whoever they babies in the or killing and cutting them in 50 pieces, these got support. I go to jail for a crime everybody know I did not commit, get shot 5 times, and I'm getting raped in jail, wealthy, wonky. They just say anything to assassinate my character. What that showed me, remember this lack of a conscience when I come out. Remember this lack of mercy when I come out. Remember this lack of compassion when I come out. But now I come out, everybody want to calm down and relax and forget what you said.
Now, here's where it gets even more disturbing. Fans are convinced Tupac was calling out Diddy and Quincy Jones with that first comment he made about the industry PDF files being protected and supported. And the clues are all there. First of all, this part of the interview came right after Pac was talking about his beef with the East Coast, specifically with Diddy. Tupac was convinced that Diddy was behind the Quad Studios shooting in '94 when he was shot 5 times.
Okay.
The Quad Studios shooting was the moment everything changed. Pac didn't trust anyone after that, and he believed there was a bigger setup going on that involved more than just street beef. So when he started talking about these protected predators, people immediately connected the dots. But here's another reason why fans are convinced that Tupac was specifically talking about Diddy. Something else recently surfaced online. This old interview with Suge Knight before he was locked up, where he talked about how Tupac wanted to expose rappers and producers who were on the DL because he worried they were targeting little ones.
If it was a rapper that mess with guys and go both ways, Pac didn't feel that was good. Because Pac felt he was real serious about the music. So if you're a producer or you rap, and regardless if you're married or not, and you got a boyfriend that works for you, a real boyfriend who used to be a dancer,
Damn.
Pac went studied all the facts. Pac was real smart.
Damn.
So before he say something, he'd go do his homework. He'd say, okay, this guy right here, they say he gay, he go both ways. I'm not gonna put it out there on yet, but I'm gonna do my research, and if it's true, the world should know. Because this guy might be around one of those little kids one day and mess around with them, and so I'm gonna do it to actually save him from a little child. That's why Pac attacked certain rappers and said they gay.
And again, fans are convinced Suge was referencing Diddy because he mentioned a producer with a boyfriend who used to be a dancer. So it's very likely that this boyfriend Suge mentioned is the late Uptown Records founder, Andre Harrell, who allegedly had a secret relationship with Diddy. And if you go look at some of the old photos of Andre and Diddy, they really do look like a couple. Now, as for that part where Suge said the producer with a boyfriend used to be a dancer, well, Diddy actually started his career as a dancer. And Suge loved to remind Diddy about this every chance he got.
I don't know. But we're going to take this from the top. All right? From the tippy
Stacey
top.
Latta song. I was great say. I was getting ready to say Stacey Latta saw Uncle Mike play bass guitar in the band with Stacey Latta saw husband. So we're getting close to home. See, this is my neck of the woods right here. I know exactly where they recording at. I know exactly where they at. I wasn't around right there, but I was probably coming up right when they dropped this video right here. Yeah. These my peoples right here, baby. Stacey Latta. Shout out Stacey if you're watching.
Every chance he got.
Wow.
But we're going to take this from the top. All right? From the tippy top.
But I think I understand you.
Any artist out there want to be an artist and want to stay a star. Don't want to have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in
up
the
in the videos,
all on the record. Death. Come to death row.
But see, Diddy isn't the only name that comes up in this conversation. And when Tupac told Angie Martinez that certain industry predators are protected by the system, he was allegedly also alluding to Quincy Jones. Now, if you've been paying attention to the rumors that have been circling for years, you already know Quincy's name has been mentioned in some of the most disturbing stories about what really goes on behind closed doors in the entertainment world. And just like Diddy, Quincy seems to have moved through it all untouched, no matter what people have said about him. According to multiple industry insiders, Quincy was basically Diddy before Diddy, and he would allegedly host these weird private parties where young up-and-coming artists were pressured to perform for studio executives. Professor Griff from Public Enemy talked about this years ago, and he even claimed that Quincy had multiple people taken out for threatening to expose him.
When Tupac came to Hollywood, it was the homosexual ritual. This is where the homosexuals came out against me, but I didn't mind. I wasn't talking about homosexuals. I'm saying there's a homosexual ritual that they go through in the Illuminati secret societies. And it is. Where Tupac said he was asked by Quincy Jones to in the ass. When Tupac said no, that's when Tupac was marked for death. Why? Because Tupac was engaged to Quincy Jones's daughter. Quincy Jones's daughter's best friend was Aaliyah. Aaliyah was engaged to Dame Dash. Now, if y'all follow these people back, all of them either died or was brought to ruin.
But Griff didn't stop there. He also alleged that Quincy had a whole setup going in Hollywood, this secret club where young male artists were pushed into compromising situations with powerful older men. And according to Griff, Will Smith was one of those young guys. Griff pointed out how shortly after linking up with Quincy, Will landed his first big film role in 6 Degrees of Separation, where he played a gay con artist who gets involved with a much older man.
The thing that raised some eyebrows with people is when I dropped the information about Quincy Jones. All right, let the chips fall wherever they fall.
That's right.
This dude was one of the ones responsible. He had a magazine financed by Warner Brothers and arrested him. He set up rings in Hollywood. And the people that he brought in, if y'all tell me if I'm lying, Quincy Jones brought in Fresh Prince.
He did.
And his first movie was what? 6 Degrees of Separation.
And then there's Jaguar Wright, who backed up Professor Griff's claims and even named another alleged victim of Quincy Jones, R&B singer Tevin Campbell, who was only 14 or 15 when Quincy took him under his wing.
You know, Michael told me that when he hears you sing, he thinks of himself a lot. I don't know if he mentioned this to you. And you've been compared, I mean,
he looks
Michael
soft.
thinks that, and a lot of people compare you to Michael. They compare you to Stevie. What do you think about the comparisons?
Well, you know, Michael is, you know, he's had a lot of success, just like Stevie. And I always say I would like to have, you know, success that they've had, but I wouldn't want to have the same style. I want to be Tevin Campbell.
But Tevin's career suddenly dropped off, and he pretty much disappeared from the spotlight. And according to Jaguar Wright, that's because he was so traumatized by what he experienced at Quincy's industry parties. It drove him to substance use and a mental breakdown.
If you actually knew what they do to children, how does a boy with a voice like that had the records that he had that could have easily transformed into one of the greatest male vocals of all time, end up prostituting himself for drugs and change on Hollywood Boulevard?
Damn.
How does that happen with a gift like his?
Morals.
Money over morals? What morals? It's the music industry. Where the what morals?
No, I'm saying they're choosing money over morals.
Listen to me. It's deeper than that.
Listen to me.
It's not even money. See, it's power. It's
Listen
dominion.
to me.
And then there's Tupac himself, who apparently had a really weird experience with Quincy shortly before that interview with Angie Martinez. According to multiple industry insiders, Pac was actually in talks to leave Death Row and possibly sign with Quincy's label before he died in 1996. But this is where it gets dark. Rumor has it that during those negotiations, Quincy made a pass at Tupac and tried to pull him into those creepy parties. And Pac was reportedly so disturbed that he shut the whole deal down. But that's not all he did. Allegedly, he decided to spill everything in that interview with Angie Martinez, including how Quincy tried to turn him out. However, that part of the interview will probably never see the light of day. Now, when people later asked Angie why she never released the full interview, she claimed it was because Pac made direct threats against certain people. And she didn't want to add even more fuel to the East Coast versus West Coast drama.
Then I went there, and he did say some brilliant, amazing things, but he was also on fire and still very angry. This happened. I'm gonna do this to this person. And he definitely was using me to get a point across.
Of course, you're the voice of New York.
Yes. And I thought, if I aired this more people will die. More people will die.
However, that still doesn't explain why almost 30 years later, this interview is still being kept from the public. Tupac's been gone for decades, so whatever threats he supposedly made wouldn't really carry weight today. So the question is, who's really keeping this interview from being released? Well, if Tupac actually named Quincy Jones in that interview, that might explain a lot. There have been rumors for years that Quincy had deep connections to the feds and some powerful political elites. Here's what one fan said on X. Quincy Jones also was connected with the CIA since the late 1950s. Google USIA, United States Information Agency. Interestingly, Kidada's sister, Rashida, wrote a fiction book, Frenemy of the State, about being an heiress that was a secret government spy. Kidada told Pac not to wear the vest that night. And then celebrity medium Sloan Bella also pushed this theory, claiming that Quincy was an informant and that Kidada was planted in Pac's life to help bring him down.
So what do you do if you want to put a hit on someone besides just mowing them down like in a third world country where they just blow people up? You kind of put a love interest in front of them, and perhaps the love interest's father is connected to the police department, who's connected to the rappers, and in the music industry connected to the political part, and you kind of all are one big happy family, and the girl, i.e. the thing that can take a man down 10 times more than not, okay, than drugs and alcohol and anything, is a female. That female can tell her father what's going on, and he can report back, so we know the whereabouts of this man. And it's not like they wouldn't have somebody watching him anyway, because...
But that's not all. There's also this 2018 interview with Quincy that was published in Vulture, where he talked about being friends with the Clintons and knowing too many dangerous secrets. Here's what they asked Quincy in this interview. You just mentioned the Clintons, who are friends of yours. Why is there still such visceral dislike of them? What are other people not seen in Hillary, for example, that you see? And Quincy answered, it's because there's a side of her. When you keep secrets, they backfire. Vulture then asked, like what secrets? And Quincy responded, this is something else I shouldn't be talking about. And when the interviewer commented, you sure seem to know a lot, Quincy replied, I know too much, man. So even if half of these stories are true, it could explain why Angie's hands might be tied and why some powerful people have a real interest in making sure that interview with Tupac never sees the light of day. But here's the thing. A lot of rap fans who were around back then swear they remember Tupac mentioning that alleged incident with Quincy in other interviews that later got scrubbed or disappeared completely. One fan commented on this new clip that surfaced saying, I don't know how old people are in the comment section, or if y'all was into secrets of the industry books or DVDs, but there used to be a black man who did DVDs about it, and on one of them, he talked about the Quincy Pac situation. There was even audio of Pac saying X advances were made, but he told Quincy, and I quote, I don't get down like that. I swear I remember hearing the audio, but it disappeared years later. I first heard it around 08, 09. And then another person added, you are correct.
Wow.
The audio of that has been removed. If I'm not mistaken, Tupac went on an LA radio station and told what happened. That's when he definitely became a marked man. And then on top of all this, Suge Knight also confirmed this in a recent interview from prison and claimed that he witnessed a bizarre scene when Quincy tried to get Tupac to spend the night at his house without his girlfriend Kidada.
Kidada and Quincy, rest in peace, but the truth is the truth. Never was going to be involved with Quincy Jones and Kidada with a label. I was there.
So now we come full circle. That new clip from Tupac's interview with Angie Martinez says a lot. Even though he didn't name names directly in this part, he basically said the quiet part out loud, that there are powerful predators in the industry who stay protected, even when they do the worst types of crimes against the most innocent. And at the same time, voices like Tupac's get targeted, silenced, and erased. So now you've got to ask, is that the real reason the full Angie Martinez interview is still locked away after all these years? And is this really just about Diddy and Quincy Jones? Or does this go even deeper? Maybe into political circles? Or even higher? Drop your thoughts in the comments and make sure you don't miss this next video.
I know one thing, keep people, everybody, Cat Williams, everybody is talking about some foul play going on in the music industry, and I think I figured it all out, man. Again, I think that if you want in, you got to give up off the, just like Cat Williams said, keep it a secret, because we keep it a secret. The more you keep it a secret, the more people going to want to know why all of a sudden you're getting all this money. Because music don't sell. Who is buying music? No, ain't nobody buying no music, man. Music don't sell. Puffy music ain't sold. Every blue moon, somebody buys some music way out in the country. Maybe I'm the one wrong. I'm about to find out, man. Hey, y'all let me know what y'all think. I know one thing. You need a big advance to get this music thing started. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell them Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.